Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Azahara Letters. Today I am going to teach you English cursive calligraphy, also known as copperplate, English Roundhand or Engrosser calligraphy using a pencil. I am going to write it using a soft pencil, in this case a Faber-Castell 8B, but you can also use a 2B or 4B. Before we start writing, let's do a couple of things. First, sharpen the pencil and then flatten the tip by doing this. The result is a diagonal or oblique shape for the pencil, which is going to help us make thick strokes. This way we can make the thin stroke upwards and the thick stroke downwards. Then we can practice the typical basic strokes such as the bridge, loops, ovals and so on. The guideline is essential in this calligraphy. I will use one that is 6 mm X height and 9 mm for ascenders and descenders. The inclination is 55 degrees. I'll leave a link in the video description box to download this guideline. To make this alphabet, I am going to follow the example of the Copperplate Calligraphy book by Eleanor Winters. I recommend it. So let's start. Letter A. Thin input stroke, oval is thin, thick, thin, and output stroke. I repeat it again. Letter B. Thin input stroke, thin up, thick down, thin up, output stroke. Letter C. Like an A, thin, thick, thin, and then we add a teardrop or knot. Letter D. We repeat the letter A and we add a thick stroke. Attention, the letter D is not as tall as letter B. The letter E can be made as a C and then closed with a small thin curved stroke. The other way is to make it as a single stroke. The letter F goes up with a thin stroke and down with a thick stroke like the letter B, but all the way down. Then that kind of bow is added. Letter G is like letter A, but with the addition of a descending loop. Letter H. The first part is the same as the letter B, but then a small bridge is added. The letter I is like the last stroke of the A, and sometimes you will see in some examples that the dot is very high. The letter J is like the letter I with a descending loop, like that of the letter G. The letter K is an ascending loop, and then we draw a letter uppercase R, like this. There are no mysteries for the letter L, it's like the beginning of the letter B or H. For letters M and N, we only have to draw bridge, thin up and thick down. Thin up, thick down. Thin up, thick down, and so on. Letter O is like drawing an oval and then a quiff comes out. Letter P enters with a thin stroke, then a thick stroke downward, and a bridge is added. The letter Q is like making a G, but the loop goes up the other side. The letter R in copperplate can be made in two ways. One is a bridge, then goes up and has a toupee or quiff at the end. The other way is to make a kind of rectangle, thin, thick, thin, thick. Letter S has different finish, I will show you too. You can do it like this, going up a little bit from the top line of X and going down with this curve, and you can do the same but finishing with a teardrop. T is like an I but rises a little higher, at most to the height of the D. Finally, the crossover is added. Letter U, like drawing a bag, thin, thick, thin, thick. Letter V has an entry similar to the R, then it goes up and ends with the same key as the letter B. Double V is to make an U and then a V, so we repeat the same shapes. The letter X is a little weird. It's how it's done in cursive when we were kids, like this. The letter Y is like writing an U with a descending loop. Finally, the Z is like drawing the top of a 3 and then adding the downward looping stroke. Okay, so much for this tutorial to learn how to write the copperplate alphabet in lowercase with a soft pencil. If you want a video with the uppercase letters, leave me comments. Don't forget to give me the thumbs up and click on my picture to subscribe to my channel and don't miss anything. Thank you very much for watching and let's practice!